winners in their different tournaments.
I have not heard of Sloane Stevens in a while.
Yeah, she still plays tennis.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Welcome back, sis.
She still plays tennis, and she just won another tournament this weekend. So great one for her. What else happened this weekend? Oh, there was a capitulation of massive proportions, and then there was a Guardiola rant because of the schedule. We'll touch on all of that, and the El Clasico that happened last night again. In the last minute, again, Jude Bellingham scoring the winner. We'll talk about all of that and more on the locker room this morning. But before we do all that, Zibby, don't laugh again and just tell us how to be a part of the locker room.
0809 4440981. That's the WhatsApp number. You can tweet or X at Smooth981. And yes, we're streaming live on YouTube. Hello, YouTube, Smooth981. That's the channel. Subscribe, watch, post a comment. Yes.
Yes. See my religious look. All right.
Not with those shorts. You cannot wear those shorts to church, Tega.
It depends. All right, Omatseye, let's just run through the headlines very quickly.
On the bill this morning comes in this one, 2024 NBA playoffs. Top seeds Boston Celtics beat Miami Heat in opener, as there will be Rybakina strolls to Stuttgart's title in straight sets win over Kostyuk, and there would also be shameful. La Liga has no goal line technology. Barca's coach Xavi is the one ranting right now, as Man United must do better after FA Cup penalties reprieve, so says Fernandez. And there would also be under pressure. Pochettino puts brave face on FA Cup defeat, as Arteta, proud as Arsenal, bounce back to go on top of the league, as Inter's Inzaghi not obsessing about Milan derby Scudetto slot, and Leverkusen stay unbeaten with last gasp strike at Dortmund.
All right. Those are the stories that happened this weekend. Leverkusen still unbeaten, scoring a 96, 97 minute goal just to keep that scoreline. They've already won the Bundesliga. They just don't want to lose. That record must stand. So fantastic one for Bayern Leverkusen. But before we do all that, let's go to the United States of America, where there's a playoffs happening.
The Boston Celtics started their NBA playoff campaign with a 114-94 win over the Miami Heat.
All right. So, yes, the playoffs have started. More sleepless nights for Tega. But what it means is the big boys are now coming out. And regardless of what you have been told, there is a playoff mode. There are players that once it comes to playoffs, that's when you see them, they start to fly. For some reason, they play differently. The Boston Celtics were always going to defeat the Miami Heat for several reasons. The play-in tournament, Miami Heat had 2 games. Remember the one that they lost just by 1 point against Philadelphia 76ers. They now had to play Chicago Bulls to get through to the playoffs proper. And then they were playing Chicago Bulls without their main man, Jimmy Butler. So that just adds pressure to other guys. So they were able to defeat Chicago Bulls. It was a fantastic game. Everybody picked up the slack. But against the Boston Celtics, you know, people have been calling them championship contenders for years, and for good reason. Yes, they have faltered in the past few years, but they have the team that can go all the way to winning the championship. And so when you have a depleted Miami Heat side who have had several extra games playing against a well-rested Boston Celtics side, the outcome was always going to be a beat down. So yes, it was a tough one for Miami Heat, but I don't think anybody was shocked that they lost to Boston Celtics with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown playing the most fantastic basketball you've seen in a while. So especially from the 3-pointers, they were just knocking it back to back, and there was nothing Miami Heat could do to defend, because you defend the paint, your parameters are open. You defend your parameters, your paint is open. It was just, they didn't know which trouble to attack at what point in time, and it was coming from everywhere. So that loss was almost expected. But also in the playoffs, Lakers took on Denver Nuggets. Now that one, You also expected Denver Nuggets to win, defending champions. They have the potential MVP of the season in Nikola Jokic playing. Jamal Murray is back from injury. Porter Jr. is also playing and thriving. But with the Lakers, because you have that X factor called LeBron James, it doesn't matter if he's 40 or 50, as long as he's still in the league, you have to fear him because he has a playoff mode and he delivers. Unfortunately for him, himself and Anthony Davis scored 70% of the points. The rest of the supporting cast, I don't know if they were carrying bricks, but they were just not shooting on the day. And that's where they will always falter, because you look at the Denver Nuggets, they play as a team and they have quality in every area. But the Lakers, Anthony Davis and LeBron have to have a great day with the supporting cast of Russell, Hachimura, and Reeves trying to come into the party. And if those guys don't step up, despite the fact that AD and LeBron have good days, they just will falter against Denver Nuggets. So the question is not if the Lakers will lose to Denver Nuggets. The question is, will they get swept by Denver Nuggets? That's what people are betting on now. They know they are going to lose. They're just like, in how many games will this happen? All right. So that's what's happening in the United States of America.
So let's touch base with tennis as Kazakh fourth seed Elena Rybakina defeated Ukrainian Mata Kostyuk in straight sets to win the WTA event in Stuttgart on Sunday.
Yeah, it was a very disappointing, I would say, final, in the sense that Mata Kostyuk had fought her way. Quarterfinals, she had survived 5 match points, then she won. Then she faced Coco Gauff. She faltered on 13 match points. Then she eventually won. Then she played in the semifinals and she was brilliant. And then she gets to the finals and there was nothing left in the tank. No gas, 6-2, 6-2. Rybakina was just like, this should have been training. It was disappointing, because after you saw all the fights, you expected a little bit of a battle. But Rybakina had also played her finals before the finals. She faced Iga Swiatek in the semifinal, and that was a match and a half. Went all the way to 3 sets. That you expected from both of them, but she was able to shade it because her serves, my goodness, her serves were better than Iga Swiatek. And I've said it before, Iga Swiatek needs to work on those serves, because that's the weakest point in her game. And unfortunately, big servers like Rybakina with big forehands, they take advantage of it. They're like, okay, I will struggle on your serve because you struggle on your serve, and then I'll play brilliantly on my serve because my serve is 80% of the time great. So that's where they take the advantage and beat her. So she had played a brilliant semi-final, which was like the final. So to have an easy breeze in the final, to win, I think it was justification for that. So great one for Rybakina. Her fantastic 2024 continues. I think this is her 4th title, so she's on her way. She's doing great. On the men's side, Casper Ruud also won his first ATP over 250. So he's been winning 250 titles, ATP 250 titles since. This was the first one over 250 that he won. And boy, he had to beat the person who beat him just last week, Stefanos Tsitsipas, in the final. And Stefanos Tsitsipas has really tried. He went all the way, won Monte Carlo Masters, came to Barcelona, and had played a couple of 3-set matches. Again, there was not much gas left in the tank, and so he lost to Casper Ruud. So Casper Ruud winning, Rybakina winning, and also Sloane Stephens winning another title this weekend. So some winners all around. But the Madrid Masters is next up, and let's see who takes 1,000 points.
All right, on to football. Barcelona coach Xavi Hernandez blasted La Liga for not employing goal line technology after his team's 3-2 Clasico defeat on Sunday left Real Madrid on the brink of the title.
Why is it that when Barcelona loses, Xavi is always looking for a referee? Why can't he look for his defenders like João Cancelo that left Lucas Vazquez all alone in the 18-yard box to just bury the equalizer? Why didn't he look for Araujo? Why is he always looking? Look, it's easy. Not his players are in the same locker room with him. He can just walk up to them and say, you know what, you guys are incompetent. You see, this goal was your fault. That goal was your fault. This goal was the lack of defending. He can easily do that. No, but he'll be finding invisible referee man to be attacking after every loss. Yes, they need goal line technology in La Liga, but that's not why Barcelona lost. End of discussion, Xavi. Your defending was lack. You created chances that you didn't take advantage of, and at the end of the day, you couldn't beat a team who was running on empty. That's all this is. Real Madrid had played 120 minutes just a few days ago. You were stretching your legs because you were beaten very easily in 90 minutes. How about you take advantage of the extra gas in your tank or the extra oil in your lamp? Why are you walking around like the 5 foolish virgins? And now you are blaming the referee you're blaming the league for not having goal line technology. Why are we even having this conversation, Xavi Hernandez? Resign already. So it was a tough one. And it was an El Clasico, so it was always going to deliver. When the score was 1-1, it looked great. And then we thought the ball had gone over the line when Barcelona scored. Referee says they cannot use VAR to check it because that's not what. It wasn't clear on VAR. They need goal line technology, and La Liga did not have goal line technology. So we play the game back according to the rules. It's not something to break your head about. How about you reset, go and score more goals and concede less? No, Barcelona would score, then they'll give up 2 goals. For every 1 goal they scored, they gave away 2 goals. And now instead of him to blame his defenders for being poor, instead of him to blame his midfield, and I understand he lost Frankie de Jong to an injury there. So instead of him to blame his midfield and his defense for being poor on the day, he's now blaming goal line technology. Xavi, you need to do better.
All right, let's go over to Bruno Fernandes. Admitted Manchester United must do so much better after they squandered a 3-goal lead in the FA Cup semi-final against Coventry on Sunday before winning the penalty shootout.
Yes, it is not the fact that they squandered a 3-goal lead. It is the manner in which they squandered the 3-goal lead, and it is the team to whom they squandered 3-goal lead. Coventry City, that's who Manchester United should be beating. No, you should win that match, and referee will not even bother to give extra time because maybe the score line is like 8-0.
Yes.
That's referee will be like, no need for all the added time. Let's just end this match so that the embarrassment will be over. Yeah. You were leading a comfortable 3-0. Yeah. Coventry City
never wins.
I don't even know which
championship
is
side,
that.
just like
it's not just championship side. The championship side is Leicester City. That's a good side. It's tantamount to an inter-house sport side. No, it's not.
That's too much.
That's too much. It's tantamount to street football side. Let's say your street has a good team.
Oh, street aside.
Yes, your street has a good team. Yeah, that's what. And Manchester United was dragging. They almost lost though because Coventry City even scored a goal. Then VAR came and said he was offside. I was like, VAR, why are you walking now? Why don't you just be like La Liga without goal line technology?
Oh God!
But at the end of the day, it was such a humiliation. It is performance accounts. I always say how you do something is more important sometimes than what you do. And Manchester United are in the finals, yes, of the FA Cup. They are, but how did they get there? And these are the questions that have made you question their season. Again, we're not even sure they're going to make it to any part of Europe because the way Chelsea is chasing them down like, familiar spirits. It's a completely different question entirely. And so you're looking at the Manchester side. When you see these results, you now understand why they're in the position they are in and why there are questions about them. Because it's not the fact that they can't get results. It's the way that they fall apart. One mistake here, one penalty there, one defensive lapse there, and Manchester United completely exposed. It was a horrible day for Manchester United. So that's why, despite the fact that they won and they're through to the final, nobody could celebrate. Not the players, not the fans, and certainly not Erik ten Hag.
Because they were all drained after the game.
Drained of what? They were all ashamed. Drained from what? They were ashamed. They're like, how do we celebrate this? Well, should we call it victory or just win? Because that's what it was. It was a total embarrassment for Manchester United. But we'll take your thoughts on Manchester United when we come back from this very quick break. Okay, then we'll come back with YouTube message.
Okay. Yesterday's game, honestly.
This weekend was just mad.
It's the Man United game, Coventry game that was
I was just like, so when they were 2-0, I was just like, yeah, this is what I expect them to be
Oh
doing.
no. I don't
3-0,
believe
I
it.
was, no, the 2-1, I was just like, what are these people doing? 3, I was just like, okay. 3-3.
Can you imagine that?
No, at some point in time, I started laughing. When it was 3-2, I started laughing.
Because you know that.
When it was 3-3, my
Yeah.
laughter entered another level. Then we got to the penalty shootout and we're now shaking. It now came down to na 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 na
Again.
yeah.
So, ah, God.
It is something else.
Yeah, this weekend was just not it at all.
This weekend was wild. No, but I had a fantastic weekend. When last did you have facials, Zibby? You should have facials. Touch my skin with the back of your hand.
Tega. Sometimes some things happen and you don't understand how, why, or what's the other HRW. You're listening to The Locker Room on the Smooth 98.1. It's Tega, Omas, and Zibby.
Okay, it's Tega's face, Omas, and Zibby. All right. So, let's take some of your messages because those messages are coming in.
Massive messages in here this morning. Well, this one comes in from, it says, X-Fact says, exactly how did Barcelona not win yesterday? Suddenly no goal tech. First it was PSG referee madness, now Madrid Broadway robbery. But Barca will laugh last. That's what he can say.
And he's a Barca fan. So the common denominator here is that Barcelona is losing. And all of a sudden, it's two different referees who didn't have any private meeting.
Yes.
That's our fault.
Then B. Noel from Lekki comes up saying, in the last 15 minutes, when Thomas Partey entered the field, Arsenal controlled the match better. He owned the best connection with Odegaard, and then ever wondered why Martin Odegaard seemed more excited as soon as Partey appeared on the field. Arsenal needs you in these last 5 matches. Thomas Partey, being well from Lekki.
No, but it's not. That's why we were raising the question. We suspect that Arteta and Partey are not in very great terms because Partey is obviously a great option. Arteta is just not using him, so he's not telling Thomas Partey to stay fit. He's calling Mikel Arteta to behave himself.
And then Emeka Onelum says, who else noticed Man United players were too ashamed to celebrate? Please, I'm begging United not to sack Ten Hag. 3 finals in 2 years isn't easy. As for Guardiola, I agree with him. Footballers are human beings, not robots. Now I'm hearing there is going to be a Club World Cup coming, as if the schedule isn't congested enough. Lastly, what do you think about Nottingham Forest losing their home training?
Yes. Okay, so we'll talk about Nottingham Forest losing their home training. So they claim that they have 3 penalties and they were denied all. And this is not the first time people are making errors. Even the Referees Association have come to apologize to them for some errors before. And because this is a crucial end of the season, they're really mad that Everton won by 2-0. I would say this, because when you see things like Coventry get a penalty for what they got a penalty for, and you see Nottingham Forest not getting a penalty for about the same thing, it's those inconsistencies that make coaches and players question the league.
All right, let's look at some of the messages via YouTube. Padre Pio says, Nicholas Jackson has no business being a striker. His lack of confidence in front of goal is shocking. Abiodun Obi.
I would say he has no business being a footballer, but
oh wow, Tega, have mercy. Cancelo let Barcelona down again. Leaky defender, but Javi got undone by poor refereeing decisions. Obvious red card, Lamal's goal, penalty call. Congratulations to Real Madrid. Adefemi Mafe says ESPN should be embarrassed at how they rushed to post that Man United were eliminated when the match wasn't over.
They did do that.
Yeah, they probably.
I
mean, when you watch this match, you're like, Manchester is going home, and you know when they scored the 4th goal, A lot of people were carried away with the celebrations before they
Right.
saw that VAR was taking an extra look.
Padre says, I hope Manchester United plays this way in the finals. Silly team. How does Ten Hag still have a job? Shame. Adefemi says, I don't care if Man United won yesterday or not. That was disgraceful and Ten Hag must go. Most of these Man United players must go, and something for that statement. Eric Ten Hag for that statement after the game has to go as well.
Oh yes, he was now trying to, you know how it is. Your team has now made it through. He's trying to make it look like the performance did not really count. The result is all that matters. And we were squinting at him. All right.
Like, are you for real right now? Let's see if we can squeeze in two more messages from.
Oh no, let's take some stories before we squeeze in messages. We'll squeeze in there at the end.
Let's go to Chelsea coach Mauricio Pochettino is keen to get a disappointing season over and start afresh after losing the FA Cup semi-final a goal to nil to Manchester City on Saturday, and with it cites last hopes of a silverware.
Yes. If they had just gotten through City, I'm sure they can take on a Manchester United that struggled against Coventry City. Then again, it's not that same Manchester United that will play the game. But Chelsea had a bad day. I mean, think about the first 45 minutes. Chelsea could have wrapped up that game in the first 45 minutes. Manchester City were reeling from the after effects of their exertions midweek. And they were trying to rush the game. So let's see if we can get one or two early goals and then take advantage of Chelsea's defense, get one or two early goals and then relax a little bit because we've had a lot to play in the past few days. As they're rushing out, that's how Chelsea were rushing in. Unfortunately, the ball wasn't falling to Cole Palmer or Cold Palmer, however you choose to call him. The ball was falling to a certain young man of Senegalese descent. I'm not going to say of African descent before they think it's all of us that used to behave like that. Of Senegalese descent. And this guy was missing chances. Let me tell you, my 6-year-old nephew said, what is he doing? There was, I kid you not, goalkeeper had rushed out. He didn't need to do much. No need to round the goalkeeper. He rounded the goalkeeper. He got to the goalpost. There were two defenders standing in two different spaces. They couldn't have blocked everywhere because they can't stop the ball with their hand. You can take your time and pass the ball in like Odegaard did when he scored his second goal over the weekend. Nicholas Jackson last night said, there are two people there. Can somebody help me, please? By the time his help came, Manchester City's help also came. So he couldn't score. And my nephew said, it was the horror in which my nephew asked, my 6-year-old nephew, let me put it, Auntie Tega, what is he doing? I said, it's football. He's playing football. Because I don't know how else to answer this question you're asking me. But that's how incompetent he was in that first half. And he would have put Chelsea maybe 2 or 3 goals ahead. And before we even went on the break. And there's no way Manchester City, with what they played midweek, would have had the chance, and especially the way they couldn't even break down Chelsea, would have been able to score 3 goals back. And that's where the problem was, because Manchester City comes back in the second half. They had their great one chance at goal. They scored it, and then they defended with the rest of their life. They defended so well that when Phil Foden made an errant pass, trying to look for a second goal, and he lost the ball, Pep Guardiola went raving mad. I kid you not. Pep Guardiola became my grandmother. He was yelling at Phil Foden. Then Phil Foden walked away and started looking at the football. And Pep Guardiola went to his chair and was still ranting. That's how angry he was, because he didn't want to play another 120 minutes. And you are giving the ball away instead of having and holding. And so it was a tough day. So that was a Manchester City side that Chelsea could have taken advantage of completely. At the end of the day, Chelsea lost again to that Manchester City side. So tough one for Chelsea. Next season, they will rebuild again. Let's see how it goes for them.
All right. Arsenal coach Mikel Arteta was delighted at how his side bounced back with a 2-0 win over Wolverhampton Wanderers to return to the top of the Premier League table after a rather disappointing week that saw them knocked out of the Champions League.
Yes, it's the best thing they can do right now. Just try to win as many matches as possible. But that celebration will count for nothing because the Chelsea side I saw play against Manchester City. It's going to be a tough task for the Arsenal side I saw played against Wolverhampton Wanderers and Bayern Munich. But sometimes when you get this win, it gives you a second wind, and you can push and perform better. That Chelsea side I saw running through Manchester City like that, it's going to be a tough task. And they face Arsenal on Tuesday. It's not far away. It's just tomorrow. And so the championship is on the line, or the Premiership is on the line. And Arsenal, even if it's not in Arsenal's hand, Arsenal can do their best to just win all the matches in front of them to give them a shouting chance.
And wait.
And yeah, win and wait, but you have to win, because if you lose, there's no need to wait. Just start going home. Season over.
Well, Simeone Inzaghi said on Sunday he's an Inter Milan team and not obsessing over their chance to win the Serie A title by beating their local rivals AC Milan.
See, did you hear me? It's a lie. It's the only thing they've been dreaming of since they found out that they could do it. In fact, it's the only thing they've been working on in the training field. It's the only thing they've been dreaming about. It's the only thing they've been talking to their friends and their teammates about, winning the Scudetto by beating their bitter rivals. That's all they've been doing. Fans, staff, and players. He should not tell me story. See, live from the pit of hell. It's all I can say. Because what better way to win the Scudetto? We already knew they were going to win the Scudetto when they stretch the gap at the top to 11 points. Let's not even go to that. So they knew they were going to win it. But they have had some disappointments along the way. Knocked out of the Champions League, knocked out of the Italian Cup, yes. And now they have the opportunity. Did not win last weekend, and now they have the opportunity to get some extra excitement by winning the Scudetto against AC Milan. And you tell me they're not thinking about it. You lie, my darling. That's your tactica. In fact, that's what he's drawing on the board. Win this championship against AC Milan. He has no tactics, no strategy, just win. What is he saying? It's one thing you think about as a player. It's the one thing you want to do. You want to rub it in. It's added. Apart from the fact that you want to win so that you don't put more pressure on yourself, but you want to win for that extra oomph that you did it in a tough situation. So yes, it's all they're thinking about. You shouldn't tell us lies. All right, let's take the next story.
All right, and this one has to do with Leverkusen. Josip Stanisic scored in the 7th minute of stoppage time as Bayer Leverkusen extended their unbeaten run to 45 games in all competitions with a 1-1 draw at Borussia Dortmund on Sunday.
Borussia Dortmund thought they were about to get some reprieve. It knocked out Atletico Madrid from the Champions League. They're now in the semi-finals to take on PSG. They're like, let's add another feather to our cap. Let's be the team that stops Bayern never losing from actually winning all matches this season. And they tried. That goal came, like I said, in the 96th or 97th minute of the match. They tried. They held on to that 1-0 lead for as long as they could. And then Leverkusen did it again. Stepped up, scored a 9-minute goal, saved the unbeaten run. Because now they have nothing else that they're fighting for. They have already won the Bundesliga. All they need to do is how long they are, how much they can stretch this historic season that they're having. So great one for Leverkusen. Tough one for Borussia Dortmund, but you go again next season. Let's see how it goes. All right, we're out of time, but we have so many messages. Can we run through one or two to see how we can?
Well, Kende from Kende Atsenuwa says, well, Coventry City, where I have known to be in the lower league since the days of Peter Ndovu. Chai. And then Tayo comes up saying, at this rate, Xavi will blame us at the locker room.
He's not lying. He will so blame us one day. He says Tega and Zibby.
This is football heritage. Coventry Channel, their inner Chelsea, buy it wasn't enough. Well, Man United played this game, but Coventry looked like Victor. Eric Ten Hag has to continue with the job of giving us content because only him can make football look like a skit. Jackson will ruin football for everybody. He can only fight for penalty that he didn't work for.
I'm telling you. All right. Can we get one more message?
All right. This is Ibukun from Ketu. He says, Tega, see me 10